Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be doing my April wrap-up, talking about all of the books that I read in April, so you know what to look out for, and talk about how I did with my TBR that I even did an update video a couple of weeks ago when I was partway through and still didn't quite get to everything I wanted to get to. But before we get into that, I really quick want to thank some lovely viewers who sent me some books. And first off, we have Patrick, who sent me the... I do remember the name of the trilogy, the Fitz and the Fool trilogy, which these are like really, really pretty books too. I've been trying to only buy the UK ones so that they'll match the shelf. But we got Fool's Assassin, Fool's Quest, and Assassin's Fate. These lovely books. They are super nice looking, and I have just absolutely fallen in love with Robin Hobb's writing. So I'm so excited to finally get to those. Those are after the Tawny Man and the Rainwild series, so it'll be a bit, but very much appreciated. I love those books. Happy to continue to build on the Robin Hobb shelf. And I have almost the whole realm of the Elderlings now, which is pretty awesome. And second, I want to thank Walker Wright 7, and I'll link, he has a channel, which I'll link to down below. Patrick, you don't have a channel, or I would link you too, but you can find Patrick in my Discord. You can check the link for that. But Walker, who sent me Leviathan Wakes by James S.A. Corey. And this one I had been meaning to get into The Expanse for a long time. I've just heard pretty much nothing but glowing things about The Expanse, and one of my other goals is to read a little bit more sci-fi this year. So very excited. I will definitely make sure to get to this before too long to try out some sci-fi, and then there's a whole bunch more of the books if I end up liking them. So thank you very much, Walker, for sending that as well. That was really cool. I've never been just sent books before, and the really funny thing is the Fitz and the Fool trilogy. Those came on my wife and our original dating anniversary before we were married, and Leviathan Wakes came on her birthday. So it was really funny that I got books on her birthday. So it worked out. It made me laugh. But let's get into now, after a big thank you for those two for sending the books, into what books I did read in April and see how I did on the TBR for April. So first off, it did take me into April 2nd to finish Prince of Fools by Mark Lawrence. I started this right at the end of March. I was hoping to be done. According to Goodreads, I finished on April 2nd, so just a little bit in there. But this is one I had wanted to read the Red Queen's War trilogy for quite some time. Prince of Fools was so different from the from the Broken Empire anyway. And Prince of Thorns being the first book, it had some parallels that were really cool to see, and just a lot more humor and a very different character. So I'm really enjoying this so far. It's a different feel, still definitely good, and Lawrence, and I've got a review out for that as well. Next up, I read on the old Kindle Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. I had started that in March and I had to stop because it was going to make me not finish other things I needed to finish in March. So I finally got to finish it. It was the very next thing I did in April, and oh my gosh, guys, it's so freaking good. At this point, my review is out for that as well. Originally, I was supposed to wait until at least 2 weeks before release, and I waited like about a week, but then it got like released early or something, so I don't really know what's happening there. But check out my spoiler-free review for Shadow of the Gods as well, if you want to read that book, because it was awesome. It just made me love John Gwynne even more. It was so good. It was so good. And then next, after I got those done, the next book I read was Legend by David Gemmell, the first book in the Draenei saga, and this was the channel buddy read in April, and one that I had recommended to me by several people, and then lots of us in the Discord just all wanted to read it, so we decided to make it the official buddy read between me and Andrew's Wizardly Reads, whose channel, of course, I'll link down below also. And so read this, and you got, there's... if you can see it, the Sean Connery looking guy on the front. I always think of him as Sean Connery, but this book is the first in Draenei. Follows Druss, who is a retired legendary warrior, basically, and just has some really unique looks at kind of sieges and battles, and It was both a classic feeling, but also trope subverting type fantasy, so really, really interesting. You'll definitely be seeing some more Drenai books coming. I most certainly will want to be reading more of those as well, so definitely watch out. My review with Legend is also out, so those are the ones that are out so far. The next book I read, which was continuing the buddy read with Megan's Reading Revelations, and I'll link her channel down below, also was Mad Ship by Robin Hobb, the second book in the Live Ship Traders. And yes, it's Hobb because, like I was just talking about, I'm loving me some darn Hobb. There's just, it's been really, really good. And I wanted to get this done a little bit early. Last time I read it toward the end. I actually finished before most of the other people had started it in the Discord, so that was less fun. But we got a lot of good conversation anyway, so definitely check out Megan's Discord if you want to join the discussion about Mad Ship. But these are some big books, so they have definitely been taking some time for me to get through in the months with them. But oh so good. And this one, I do have my review recorded. It's going to come out actually next week, next Friday actually. It should be Mad Ship for that coming out. I wanted it to be a little bit closer to the live show that we're going to be doing on Megan's channel. So I posted that one a little bit later. The next book that I read in, I was about to say May. We're not even there yet. I've read in the future. That's how I keep up on my TBR, guys. In April, the next book I read in April was Weavers by John Walker, which is also the same Walker Wright 7 I mentioned earlier, whose channel is linked down below, so you can check that out as well. This is his book, and he had mentioned it and asked if I'd be willing to read and review. So I got it online and definitely gave it a look. And I don't read a ton of YA, and I mentioned in the review as well, I really like this. He was very, very character-driven, had a lot of good things, especially for a first-time self-published author. Definitely a lot of good here. So this was a really fun change of pace. Definitely not my normal read whatsoever, but it's good to change things up, keep it up. So that was a nice book to read between a couple of longer and very, very different and darker books as well. The next book I read was on my Kindle, and I think I'm going to try to keep some more Kindle in because I feel like I actually read faster on the Kindle than physical, which is something I'm still learning. I haven't had it that long, but that was The Black Tongue Thief by Christopher Buehlman, and that was such a different book, and I don't really know what I was expecting, but it was very interesting. It's just hilarious, constant jokes. It's a pretty dark world. But there's just a ton of jokes, and we follow Kinshna Shamak, who is a thief and part of the Thieves Guild, and him kind of going on an adventure and then narrating what's going on with lots of jokes and learning about places. And it was a very different read, pretty enjoyable, not an overly long book either, and it definitely one I'm looking forward to getting my review recorded. I'm getting that out. That will be closer to its release because that one, I believe, comes out May 25th. So it's going to be a little bit before my review there, but it was a really fun time. I enjoyed reading that book, and it was, I was expecting it to be darker, and it was very dark, but with a lot of humor kind of without. So it was an interesting experience, very much for sure. But I had just recently finished that, and so since this is coming out a little bit before the end of the month, and I'm recording it a couple days before it comes out too, I'm still reading The Liar's Key by Mark Lawrence, which is book 2 in the Red Queen's War. I'm like 100 pages in, but this book's only like oh crap, it's almost 500 pages, so I'm a little less far than I thought. I should be able to finish this by the end of the month, though. Or at least it'll be really close, and it'll be like last month where I was just barely finishing Prince of Fools into April. Unfortunately, this means I've still not actually fit in Keeper of the Keys, the second book in Cycle of Fire by Janny Wirtz. And I have just decided just now I'm going to read this next no matter what because I've been putting it off for too long. So this will be maybe a tiny bit April or the first book of May because I just want to read it. It's been a while. I liked the first one. It wasn't anything like just completely like mind-blowing, but it was a really solid, had a really cool twist and just well written, and I really want to continue this series and get the second two done. This is one where it's not horribly long because I think each one is less than 300 pages. So it really shouldn't take me that long to read it. I just need to actually read it, so that'll be next. As for the rest of what will be happening in May, I hope to have a May TBR video figured out and hopefully posted Monday. To be honest, I still have to figure out what the heck my TBR is going to look like in May. At the beginning of the year, I planned out kind of to April, at least to an extent, and then that changed a little bit as well. But it's new territory here, so I'll get that figured out and then keep an eye on that video, hopefully Monday, like I said, coming after this, of what I plan to read in May. With that, that's my wrap up and everything that I did read. Like I said, most of these have reviews out. The rest reviews, of course, will be coming soon, so make sure to give the video a like if you enjoyed it. Check the links down below for the channels I mentioned, as well as the link out to our Discord. And of course, if you want to make sure that you see the reviews for any of the books that I've talked about or will be reading next, make sure to subscribe.